Jordan's reign of terror ends when Sally surprises Billy. Jordan slams the teacup on the floor after drinking it at the tack house. If she has more, she will be happy to drink more. She refuses to be imprisoned again or kept in a dungeon by Victor Newman. "What are you talking about?" asks Victor. Claire claims that she tainted Jordan's tea with poison. In order to preserve her life, she anticipates that they will call an ambulance. Jordan asks Claire if she will watch her devoted aunt pass away in front of her. Jordan informs Claire that she lacks the courage to carry out her action. "She's more resilient than she ever realized," Nikki sneers. Jordan goes on a tirade about what she gave up for Claire. Has she lost sight of the fun times? To stop it, Victoria yells at her. She won't allow her return to her daughter's thoughts. Jordan asserts that Victoria will never be the way she is and that she already is. Victoria promises to call an ambulance so that Claire won't have to deal with Jordan's death. "You won't," says Jordan, knocking her phone out of her grasp. Jack turns to exit the jazz lounge after spotting Billy at the bar. "You don't have to run away," Billy yells at him. Jack isn't seeking a dispute. Billy isn't either. He wishes to purchase a drink for his brother. They discuss whether Billy is drowning while they sit there. Billy believed he knew everything, but he needed to quit arguing and start paying attention to people he respects. Jack and everyone else who has warned that he is about to go off a precipice are included in this. "What is going on?" Jack asks. Billy claims that since he lost Abbott Chancellor, things have gotten worse. He was overcome by his hatred and indignation. Initially, it was all about Victor robbing him. He desired to injure the man who had wronged him. "That's a full-time job," Jack says, rolling his eyes. Billy claims that his mother's actions and the suffering and hurt they caused him are more to blame for the drowning feeling. Billy planned to accuse Victor of using her terrible health, but Phyllis talked him out of it once he realized he would have to target his family, specifically Adam. Nobody thinks he should even attempt to take down the large, white whale, let alone succeed. "Then, are you letting this go for good?" Jack asks. Billy claims that his problems with his mother are unrelated to Chancellor. He can consider his future career step once he has resolved those. Jack takes great pride in his brother. Bloodthirsty retaliation never produces positive results. Billy claims that uplifting himself rather than bringing others down will be the key to his success. His thoughts are sound. Jack is willing to discuss bankrolling one of them since he thinks he does. Mariah and Nick welcome her into Sharon's house while discussing transporting her to the hospital for a checkup. When Faith shows up, she jumps into her mother's arms. Sharon is delighted to see her daughter's faces as they sit. Being at home is such a comfort. Sharon refuses to go to the hospital, despite Nick's wishes. Nick informs the girls that Jordan is the person they know did this to their mother. "How is that possible?" they ask. According to Nick, she found a prisoner to replace her. Mariah assumes she received assistance. Jordan asserts that he killed Heather to clear the path to Mariah by removing Sharon, while Nick maintains Ian set up the prison switch. Mariah finds it hard to comprehend that she is responsible for everything. Nick and Sharon put a lot of effort into persuading Mariah that she is not to blame. Sharon is still baffled by Jordan's involvement. Was Ian even familiar to her? According to Nick, the story is lengthy and complex. She must take a nap. Faith wants to take her mom to the doctor. Sharon wants her own bed and bath tonight, but she will see one in the morning. She sees Mariah in tears. "Mom, I'm so sorry," Mariah says, throwing her arms around her. Mariah claims that she was terrified that she was the reason the insane person had come to town. Observe what transpired with Heather. In order to get revenge on Lucy, Daniel devastated their lives. According to Nick, she is a victim just like everyone else. Although Mariah understands that rationally Ian's efforts to reach her are absurd. She talks about her altercation with Tessa, who implied that he had changed. "I regret some of the things I said." Sharon is confident that her wife will pardon her. Mariah gripes that the monster is attempting to ruin her life once more. Even while Jordan is dying, Victor and Nikki shout at her in the tack house, telling her how horrible she is. Jordan is merely attempting to provide a memorable experience. Victoria warns her to stop talking so dirty. What kind of poison was it? Jordan asks Claire. The same type that we applied to them? The one that is slow-acting and produces such intense pain and spasms? How much time do I have left? She says as she settles upon the sofa. She has 5 minutes, maybe less, Claire warns her. She poured a sleeping pill bottle into her tea. She trained her to be more imaginative than that, Jordan laments. There's still time to call for assistance, according to Victoria. Jordan will not accept it. She will always be there to remind Claire of what she has done to her whenever she shuts her eyes. Claire, you are a murderer. Similar to me. Claire informs her that she is mistaken. I am appreciative of being a Newman. You ungrateful little bitch, sneers Jordan. I find you repulsive. Jordan informs Claire that her new family is a fabrication and that everything is a hoax. That's enough, Victor yells. Please let me know Ian Ward's location. Jordan claims that it's too late and expresses her wish that Ian will destroy them all. It will never happen, says Victor. They will be dancing in hell when they finally meet. How is that? What? Billy thanks Jack for his financial offer in the jazz nightclub. Jack is eager to hear his ideas since he thinks he can do big things. Billy assures him that when he determines what to do next, he will be the first to be called. Jack is aware that he must first resolve his problems with Jill. He has no idea how deeply her condemnation affected him. Sally, who has been searching for Billy, shows up. I'm going to surprise you. Nick advises Mariah at Sharon's house to prevent Ian from hurting her any more than he has already. Sharon believes she ought to go make amends with Tessa. His goal is to drive a wedge between them. Don't give him the satisfaction, Faith continues. Faith assures Mariah that she will be there, despite her concerns about leaving Sharon. Nick informs her that he will be at the main residence. Jordan talks about them witnessing her death in the tack house. Have they even considered how they will dispose of her body? Nikki questions whether she worries about her victims. Jordan informs Claire that she has sold her soul to these people and that she loves her. If anything, I reclaimed it after you stole it and tried to twist it into something evil, like you, says Claire, proving that she hasn't sold her soul. Jordan exclaims over her sister and declares that she will never be a part of their universe. If Claire will miss her, she asks. As her aunt passes away, Claire clutches her hand. That's the end, says Victor. Victoria embraces Claire as she sits next to her. Diane informs Jack at the Abbott house that she has been searching through vintage publications for ideas for the Jabot Classics collection. Jack tells her that he had a polite talk with Billy, who has done some real introspection, after she remarks on how happy he is. He seems to have grown up after losing to Victor. Diane is relieved that Billy is leaving. Though it's an opportunity to choose a completely other route, Jack regrets that he feels deceived by his mother and that his hopes for Abbott Chancellor were dashed. He's eager to see where it leads him. Billy's eyes are closed as Sally leads him into a dimly lit residence. Avoid opening them. She instructs him to open his eyes after turning on the light. Billy exclaims, "Wow." She reminds him that he requested her assistance with his new residence. "This is fantastic, Sally," he says. "Do you like the color scheme?" she asks. He adores it and senses her feng shui's positive energy. "Come here," Sally says as she displays the pictures of his relatives that she has scattered over the room. When Billy sees Delia's photo, he sighs. It's his favorite. Sally's attention to detail astounds him. He needed a positive surprise like this right now. It's a new beginning. Sally too needed something constructive to concentrate on. They share a kiss. Billy assures Sally that he will enjoy living there. This calls for a celebratory drink, in my opinion. They settle down to drink the champagne that Sally brought. Billy gets more wonderful news. Chancellor is involved. He claims that it's time to forge a new course in life. Very similar to what this house stands for. It's time to go past the hostility and rage and turn his life around. Sally is pleased with him. Congratulations. To a fresh day, they raise a toast. She tells Faith and Nick how glad she is to be home after getting cleaned up and wearing a tracksuit at Sharon's house. If Ian and Jordan have been apprehended yet, she asks Nick. According to Nick, the family cornered Jordan at Vic's house and surely handed her over to the police. Sharon is relieved. What about Ian? Nick is certain that he will be apprehended for Heather's murder when they discover him. We're almost there. Sharon detests Mariah's sense of accountability for the monster's deeds. They will support her. Sharon advises them to inform Daniel and Lucy that they have discovered Heather's killer. They'll tell them in the morning, Nick tells her. She needs to sleep tonight. After giving her mother a hug, Faith goes upstairs. Nick is told by Sharon, that is what kept me going. She kept returning to the children and thinking about her family. That and a little bit of help from you, she sobs. Nick finds out that he continued showing up to her as her guardian angel, offering encouragement while she was on the PCP. I was saved by you. You encouraged me to leave the area. Nick is happy that he was able to assist her in some way. They give each other hugs. Jordan has a blanket over his head at the tack house. Victor summons a group of people to the tack house. Nikki questions their plans for her. Victor believes they ought to be honest with the cops. With Ian Ward's assistance, she broke out of prison and entered the ranch with the intention of killing them. She consumed some poison after realizing she would have to return to prison. It's finally over, sweetheart, says Victoria as she gives Claire a hug. Can I get anyone anything? Nikki says at the ranch house. We probably won't be able to sleep for a while. Victor says he has to know something before she does anything. What on earth were you three thinking? At the tack house, the atmosphere remains tense after Jordan's death. Claire stares blankly at her aunt's lifeless body while Victor is already on the phone, giving orders to his team to handle the cleanup discreetly. Victoria sits beside Claire, trying to comfort her, but the young woman is clearly shaken. You did what you had to do, Victoria murmurs, her voice steady but soft. Jordan wasn't going to stop, and she would have destroyed everything. Claire looks up at her mother, tears streaming down her face. I didn't want to become like her. But I didn't see another way out. Nikki interjects, her tone resolute. You are nothing like her, Claire. You're a Newman. And sometimes, being a Newman means making tough choices to protect the ones you love. Victor finishes his call and steps back into the room. It's done. The authorities won't find any trace of her involvement or ours. He places a reassuring hand on Claire's shoulder. You're safe now. But you must remember, this stays within the family. Claire nods, though the weight of what just transpired seems to press down on her shoulders. Victoria exchanges a knowing look with her father, both silently agreeing to keep a close eye on Claire in the coming days. At the jazz lounge, Billy finishes his drink and thanks Jack for their heart-to-heart. It means a lot to me that you still believe in me, Billy says, standing up. I'm going to take what you said to heart. No more running, no more revenge. Just building something good for myself. Jack nods, pride evident in his expression. That's the Billy I've been waiting to see. Don't lose sight of that. As Billy turns to leave, Sally reappears, holding a small box. Before you go, I have one more surprise for you. Billy raises an eyebrow, intrigued. What is it? Sally hands him the box. Inside, he finds a keychain engraved with the words, "Fresh starts begin here." Billy chuckles and looks up at her, touched by the gesture. You really thought of everything, didn't you? He asks. Sally grins. That's what I do. Now go enjoy your new place, and don't forget, you've got a whole new chapter waiting for you. Billy leans in and kisses her on the cheek. Thank you, Sally. For everything. At Sharon's place, the next morning dawns with a sense of cautious optimism. Sharon wakes up feeling refreshed for the first time in days. Downstairs, Nick is already brewing coffee and chatting quietly with Faith, who is flipping through a stack of old photo albums. When Sharon enters the room, both Nick and Faith turn to greet her with warm smiles. "Good morning, Mom," Faith says, handing her a cup of coffee. "Good morning," Sharon replies, her voice lighter than it's been in weeks. She takes a seat at the table and joins them in reminiscing over the photos. As they laugh about old memories, Nick's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and frowns. "It's from Victor," he says, stepping away to take the call. When he returns, his expression is grim. They've got a lead on Ian. He was spotted near the docks late last night. Sharon's mood immediately shifts. "Do they think they'll catch him?" Nick nods. "Victor's sending a team to track him down. It's only a matter of time." Faith reaches for her mother's hand. "That means it's almost over, right? No more looking over our shoulders?" Sharon squeezes her daughter's hand tightly. "That's what we're hoping for, sweetheart." At the Newman Ranch, Victor convenes a family meeting to update everyone on the situation with Ian. Claire, still shaken from the events of the previous night, sits quietly beside Victoria. Nikki takes charge of the discussion, reassuring everyone that they're taking every precaution to ensure Ian is brought to justice. "Ian's been a thorn in our side for far too long," Victor growls. "But this time, he's underestimated us. He won't get away." Victoria exchanges a glance with Claire, who still looks uneasy. "Dad, what happens after Ian is caught? Do we have to worry about any loose ends?" Victor's expression hardens. "I'll make sure there are no loose ends," he promises. At Chancellor Park, Sally and Billy take a stroll to clear their minds. Billy talks about his plans for the future, his voice filled with newfound determination. "I don't know exactly where this road will take me," he says, "but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm heading in the right direction." Sally smiles, linking her arm with his. "You've got this, Billy. Just keep moving forward." As they sit on a bench overlooking the park, Billy takes a deep breath and looks over at Sally. "Thank you for believing in me. It means more than you know." Sally pats his hand. "You don't have to thank me. Just promise me one thing." "Anything," Billy replies. "Promise me you'll never stop believing in yourself." Billy nods, a small smile playing on his lips. "Deal."